Hi, this is Fang Sane with another video on Last Disease Survival Shooter. So, right now, uh, basically we got approximately about the time when the Glory War for SHS is happening, and here they are, right on schedule, teleporting in and about to strike down on 404R. So, I was going to make a video about what Glory War was. This is what Glory War is going to be. There's going to be an AC1, so an Alliance Center 1, there's going to be an Alliance Center 2, and an Alliance Center 3. So, to win in an Alliance, to win in Glory War is that the defenders would have to basically defend their Alliance Center 1 until the time runs out, or for attackers, they'll have to destroy the Alliance Center 1 within the time limit given. Now, there's many different strategies that can be employed, but right now, what 404R want to do is to do almost a no season building strategy, except to use the season buildings as more of a outer wall to prevent people from teleporting close by. In this case, this is a strategy that some alliances used. I think that for Joel, we've used that in the past, and we haven't used that successfully before. We have used that successfully against a clan which I think we had probably taken down close to, like, they had 40,000 paratroops at one point during one of our glory wars. They gave up later just because they pretty much ran out of troops. So Calico is one of the stronger players here. He's only slightly weaker than me. Drakeo is stronger than me. King is, I believe, marginally weaker than me. So SHS is trying to take down some alliance buildings. They don't really have to do that, as they're just probably trying to make some room right now to get more people to teleport in. The main thing that they should be doing is just swarming down on the AC1 here to take it down. The best strategy that someone can do is to do a rally on this, and then, in this case, send the troops along with that rally, right? Any other strategy that I can realistically think of, I don't think it'll work in SHS's favor, just because of how much stronger Calico is. So even for Chaotic, he can't take down Calico. Chaotic being SHS's leader. I'm going to show that here just so that no one's confused. Chaotic Meltdown. I believe that this might work well if all of the stars align for SHS. I'm not saying that it can't work well. I'm just saying that right now, their strategy is a very high intensive fuel consumption strategy. So every single attack that you do on that season building consumes fuel. This is why not everybody realistically does the strategy that they're doing. There are other strategies that can be employed, but in this case, they want to try to eliminate a lot of those season buildings to make access easier to the AC1. This isn't required, as they could have just hit that right from the start. I believe that their strategy probably is to have people teleport close by. If they're not doing that, then I'm not 100% sure as to what their strategy is at the moment. I am just seeing how this goes down when they basically, if they're trying to hit this season building, or if they're trying to wait for everybody before they just go all out and then target the AC1. Okay, it looks like SHS has figured out that they should be targeting AC1 right now, so they're now sending people, instead of the season buildings, directly towards the AC1. I don't really want to, like, direct them on what to do, because I don't want to be a backseat gamer, right? So I'm not messaging Chaotic going like, what are you doing right now, right? So I'm going to let them figure out their own strategy, as they probably have something going down right now that I might not be aware of, right? So we just saw Darkside pretty much just send out a rally. So it seems that they do have a strategy going on right now. It's just that we're not able to see that, right? So that is really good that they set off that rally. Again, like, this allows you to deal a significant amount of damage to the AC1 as long as you can get through the reinforcements, right? As we saw that go down, they kicked out all those reinforcements. That goes right back to the original bases. So now they have to resend reinforcements back to that base, because if it gets kicked out and you can't reinforce this structure, this is going to get damaged slowly, right? So as we can see on the AC1 right now, it already lost over 100,000 durability. So as long as this is reinforced, they can also keep on healing. So that's another strategy as well. You need to have really good reinforcements as a defender to be able to then bypass the damage that someone does to you. So then while they're attacking, you can slowly heal up as well. So that you can see that HP slowly going up at the same time, right? So if they are able to heal up faster than the damage that they are taking, they could have negated all that damage and that progress that SHS has made. So we're seeing how this goes down right now. This is not looking good for SHS, as they're about to hit back to full HP, right? Let's see what goes on pretty soon, because they're slowly rising back up on the health scale. It's not looking really positive right now. Okay, that's good. They're able to send out another rally. At the moment, I think that they probably have Rapid Strike going on right now. Rapid Strike is also another mastery skill that you can use that can then set off a rally immediately, even though it's not full. So it looks like that they're trying to attack in two different directions to keep them busy. That's a really good strategy to employ. I would do that with more than one HQ, as with just one HQ, any one of these headquarters here, if they were active, could have easily taken down this player's formations right now. Nice. Good job to SHS. So I'm also going to mention one other thing as well. So this was a patch that was done a while back. You cannot attack an AC3 or an AC2, so Alliance Center 3 or 2. In this case, you can't hit the AC2 if the AC1 is still basically not destroyed. You cannot hit the AC3 if the AC2 is not destroyed. However, there's no point in trying to attack the other two, as the win condition is specifically for the AC1. And while this is going on, I'll mention this too. Defenders cannot attack the attacker's AC1, as the defenders can no longer teleport to the attacker's state. Instead, they're just forced to then just defend the AC1. The attackers are given 3 teleports, so they can always teleport back to the original state. So if you see this button here on the top left, on my side, it just redirects me back to my state. For the teleporters, for the people that are the attackers that teleported in, they can hit that icon there to teleport back to S50. For me, I'm on just more of a like just searching through states. Right now, I'm not actually inside server 56 with my headquarters. So for the attackers, if they hit that, they can go back to their original state and then go back into the Glory War teleport to then teleport somewhere else again. So that is a massive advantage to the attackers. I'm just letting you know about that. SHS is actually doing a really good job right now. I'm actually really surprised. And this is nothing to disparage on SHS, this is the fact that Calico is actually naturally stronger than they are. The fact that they can pull off a massive swarm tactic like this is actually very impressive. I am impressed, to be honest. Keeping in mind, SHS isn't even like a top 6 or... I don't even think they're a top 6 clan. I could be wrong. But if they manage to hit the top 6 right now recently, then that's actually really impressive. They've improved a lot. They used to be top like 8. But yeah, I'm gonna double check that. I'm actually curious right now. Oh wow. Yeah, SHS grew quite a bit of Chaotic. Okay. So after the merger, SHS has grown a significant degree. So back before SHS was merged, Chaotic used to lead LAD. And their overall power score was about 14-15 billion. It looks like with the technology from SHS, they're now able to get that power score to more than 17 billion. So that is a very significant growth by using the SHS technology that's there in State 50. And that's very well utilized, as we can see here. I'm trying to figure out what Dracio's doing. Yeah, he's just sending the troops back to his main base. He's not really attacking much of the surrounding troops. They could be trying to limit casualties. Oh, I think I know what 404R is doing. They are hoping to wear down SHS. So Draco already had that reinforced. Okay, that's good. Well, good for 404R. At least they had a strategy going on. They're trying to consistently reinforce, and then once SHS stops attacking, send that back to the main base, and then resupply with more troops to the AC-1. This is a very common tactic. The problem is that you're relying on having a break between all those swarm attacks. The second that break ends, you cannot send those troops back, as they are just stuck inside the AC-1. So before, if you take down the season buildings, it gives you points to be able to then uh, use for personal contribution. Right now, although those still provide some alliance contribution points, it's not personal contribution. These are two separate things. They don't provide enough rewards to realistically matter. Hitting the AC-1 is actually what matters more. So if you see the players hitting the season buildings and that there's nothing that the season building is actually doing to help the defenders, I don't recommend attacking them, as it's basically just wasting fuel. I'll mention this here for the people who are watching YouTube video. I'm not going to mention this to SHS right now because I don't want to interrupt their efforts. Because I feel like if I message them now, they'll feel like I'm kind of just being, a backseat gamer right now and critiquing their strategy a little bit too much because they're winning right now. So it's not like they don't have an issue of winning. It's just how they're doing it. They could have actually made it easier on themselves to actually have a player teleport here on this tile. This would allow them to have a shorter travel distance between here and to the AC1. That means that less of a chance of players intercepting their troops going in. It looks like right now 404R is not really trying to intercept those troops as much, but if this was actually an alliance that was trying hard to win, and going just hammering against the troops against SHS, this strategy would not work as well. So in a more competitive environment where you want to face someone of equal power, you want to be able to teleport in close, like here. If you're just attacking an alliance that has such a big power gap, which 404R does against SHS, yeah, you could employ the strategy, but if their power hitters like Calico ended up intercepting your troops, there's not much you can really do and they'll overflow your hospital. Calico right now isn't doing that. For whatever reason, I don't know. Right? So if Calico actually just started striking hard against all of these formations trying to hit the AC1, this will not go as well as a lot of people think. Because I personally know a lot of the troops and formations here being sent by SHS, and although some of these players have a decent overall power score, their formation power is not very high. So this could actually be easily intercepted, but I think that Calico, Drakeo, and King are just overwhelmed and they're not sure exactly what to do. Which in most cases I can understand just because of the shock of value from the number of troops that are coming in. I think that SHS is probably going to win within the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not sure if everyone sees this, but 404R's reinforcements are starting to slow down heavily. But at the same time, SHS's troops are losing faster. So now it's a battle of attrition, and we would need to see who loses that battle of attrition. If SHS's number of troops actually give out, and they cannot heal in time, and they cannot produce enough troops in time, then 404R might win. If 404R is able to win this, I'm going to be impressed with Calico. I really would be. Just because the power dynamic difference is actually huge. As a frame of reference, that is 404R's power score as an alliance. Less than 12 billion right now. Here is the power score of Shadow Step. Over 17 billion. So I'm actually really excited to see who actually is able to beat who. Because for 404R, they have 3 to 4 players that actually have a significantly higher advantage in overall main formation power score over SHS, but SHS has numbers. So in this case, it's could the little guys beat the bigger guys, but just have the players that are kind of carrying that entire alliance pull it off? There's certainly a lot of players from 404R that are actually supporting players, right? I'm not disparaging them at all, but if we think about the HQ26 as an example that's here, right? compare that to the overall power score from like Hua Hua, right? Hua Hua is going to be much stronger. Sergio is going to be much stronger. Any of these players are going to be much stronger. Dr. Danger is going to be a lot stronger. So this is all about a battle of attrition. Let's see. Okay, the reinforcements from 404 are starting to slow down as well. You can see Mick Danger's formation is losing faster. So his troops in that formation is a lot lower than usual. I'm just trying to see how many... Oh! Okay, I'm going to teach everybody in the who's watching the video right now one other strategy that SHS made as a mistake. So that way people watching this won't make the same mistake. After you send this rally here, the one that Darkseid is sending right now, if this breaks through the defenses on the AC-1, do not let those troops just come back. You want to drag those troops, or no, sorry, select the 404R AC-1 in this case. Click this. It's going to give you the attack icon. Select the troop that's being sent back, because at that moment it has the closest distance to the AC-1. Click unlimited attack. No limit to attack. So it will just keep on doing an attack until it fails. And then have it do the no limit to attack. Right? So that would significantly assist you in being able to save some time. Right now, SHS is actually having those troops sent back before sending in more troops again. Because you have a very limited time on your hands to be able to beat the AC-1, you should not be doing this, because right now they are actually at a very big time crunch right now. They are less than halfway right now, and they've got less than 40 minutes to finish this. Ooh, Drakeo lost a bunch of power too. Okay. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be very close. Nice. Kali just sent his troops in. JP sent his troops in. Darkseid sending in another rally. Good job to Darkseid. Okay, they're about to break through the AC-1. Okay, that's good. Are they able to capitalize on the breakthrough? Because if they cannot capitalize on the breakthrough, this is going to be a very problematic time. Okay, so Drakeo just managed to do the reinforcement just here. So he's just countering all of these guys right now. I'm actually curious as to what Dracula's power score just dropped to. Oh, wow. That is a hard drop. Dracula went from I think he was at 310 mil power score to now 277. That's a really hard drop. Calico's actually able to heal right now still. They both dropped 30 to 40 bill power score. I mean, not bill, sorry, mil. I think that Draco and Calico is pretty much on their limit right now. They're pretty close. Okay, so a lot of people might be questioning why Draco just did that. He couldn't bring his troops back from the AC1 before in time, so once that attack hits, you're not able to send your troops back to from the AC1 here all the way back to your main base. So that's why he ended up reinforcing really late, because he didn't end up sending his troops back from the AC1 back to his base, sending another formation back in. You cannot send troops and reinforcements that are already reinforcing a structure, and while that formation is defending against an attack, sending it back to the original headquarters. That is not able to be done, unfortunately. So that's why he's doing that now. So he learned, Draco learned. He saw that his formation's now losing a bunch of that steam, so he's sending that back in right after this. There we go. Okay, they're probably waiting for a rally right now, and then they're probably going to do one big push. There we go. The rally. So when you're doing a glory war, you need to see certain signs about if there is going to probably be a rally coming in. If you see troops standing by like that, don't let them sit there. You need to take them out as fast as you humanly can, because those troops are trying to capitalize on that rally. When that rally hits, and those troops also hit as well, that rally, if it does a successful attack, that causes every single formation that is also attacking at the same time to be considered a successful attack, just taking out a huge chunk of that durability. Okay, they're about to win. No, I thought that was actually so much lower on that durability. Sorry, I thought I saw something much lower. It's actually still very close, because right now is halfway. This is a halfway mark right now. This is actually anyone's game at this point. This might seem like this is more than halfway in terms of that durability, but remember, if this building is being reinforced, it can keep on healing. So until this AC1 is actually taken down, you didn't truly win. So if we see that durability number going up, they can keep on reinforcing this, and when you're reinforcing this 10 troops, that increases basically the healing factor on that building right there. This is going to be really close because SHS is slowing down. Their troops are being taken out so much faster right now. But at the same time, so is 404R. So they're both kind of at that breaking point with each other. We see here Dracio's formation. His troops are now losing a whole bunch of steam right now. So the number of troops that he has inside his base are probably very injured right now, or it's like still having trouble trying to heal. I'll explain in a later video about how to basically which research tree I would recommend in a situation like Glory War. I will delve more on it inside my Patreon in order to basically give a full breakdown on what I think is a good strategy to use in most overall situations. Because certain research trees take too long of a time to actually go through. So something like T10 research, I know that everybody tells like all of the newer players, hey, you should get T10, you should get T10. For a newer player to be able to get T10, a lot of them end up actually quitting before they get T10 because of how the return on investment on your badges, it's just too low. And it doesn't really pay off until near the end of like the T10 research, where they get you like close to 50% HP, right? But the problem comes down to is that T10 is like about 1.5 million badges. It's a little above that, but it's approximately there. I would recommend alternative researches to be able to compensate for that. And there's a lot of hidden researches out there. This is because you want to be able to grow stronger without taking so long of a period of time where you're saving every last badge that you can until you hit Lab 30, right? Because at that point, before you hit Lab 30, you're still basically as weak as a farm if you're saving every last badge. If you end up investing your badges into research to help you grow before you hit HQ 30, this at least allows you to have somewhat of a foundation to grow as a newer player. It also got heavily more limited on when someone can build a farm in newer servers. So before in older servers, you're given a little bit more time. In newer servers, it's not like that anymore. I believe that you can only make a new account on a server if the server is less than, I think it's 21 or 27 days old. So it's good to try to make the farm account as quickly as you could by that point, basically. Okay, I think Calico and Dracio just lost a whole bunch of steam. They're not able to actually catch up anymore. Because I can see those reinforcements being way more delayed than before. And you can see SHS pretty much being able to get through those defenses a lot faster. I might have spoken too soon. Okay, SHS is starting to lose more and more troops. Yeah, we can see that here. So by clicking on this formation, I can see how high the health value is on those formations. Sergio is down to about 500 troops. is not going very well for SHS. Oh, someone's messaging me about Glory. Oh, I'll get to that message soon. I just don't want to plaster the Glory War information that I have about my Glory War and my strategy behind it prior to my Glory War starting. This is primarily because the strategy I have for my Glory War is a little bit more out there. It's very different from what 404R did. So 404R is trying to reinforce as fast as they humanly can. That's a great strategy. Mine is, I am going to make sure that you are going to work for every single inch that you try to actually get within my within this Glory War. You know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to ask Darkseid if he wants me to provide advice. I am going to kick around the bucket so it does not seem like I am watching everything that is happening at this moment and trying to basically tell him that SHS is messing up too bad. They're doing an okay job given the fact they're fighting against Calico and Darkseid did pretty well against like Drakeo. It's just if they positioned themselves a little bit better, it could have gone a lot more towards their favor. I don't outright want to basically say it. Basically. Just gonna see if I missed anything. I moved here, seemed to be So I will explain what I'm basically stating to Darkseid. What I'm going to explain to him is whoever has the highest rally square level, because your rally square does determine how much damage you do in a rally. If his rally square is like level 30 or above, or if both of them have the same rally square level, it doesn't matter who it is, right? There is one rally square that is above level 30 that would increase the damage, but that's 35. Let me see what Darkseid says. Right, because the issue is that when they're doing this like swarm strategy, I kind of mentioned this before on a prior video, where you could do a swarm strategy, and that is something that you can do. But we can see here that this is a very high casualty, very high uh, loss strategy to just do a swarm strategy, right? Being unprepared. So for SHS in the beginning, they were doing very, very well. I'm not going to disparage them on the fact that they weren't doing well in the beginning. They were doing absolutely amazing. Like all swarm strategies, beginning could be fine. What about after you lose like a bunch of your troops? Because I've done a swarm strategy before, and my swarm strategy just so happened to be against 4-4R actually. So I know them very well. I lost 8,000 troops by myself. Most of my clan members who actually participated in that one glory war had a loss rate of between 7,000 to 10,000 troops each. I want to bring that out there, so that way it's clear that I am mentioning in this video about why I am not totally criticizing SHS. The reason being is that this is not one of those strategies that's super easy to do and pull off, right? So a lot of people like for me, I kind of just want to have like a hit it as hard as I could humanly can type strategy, overwhelming force, swarm that type of AC1 strategy, and just go all in, right? But my clan prepared for that. My clan like makes as many uh, troops as we humanly could to be able to be ready for this. Okay, he is still not aware about how I am trying not to get upset. I am so sorry, but okay, I'm gonna let him know. I was trying really hard not to be a backseat gamer. Really hard, because I don't want to critique him on every little thing, right? And it might seem like I'm losing it right now, but that's because I know Darkseid, and he's been a player in this server since like over a year ago. And so, although some players that are watching this video might be from like season 1, season 2, right? Darkseid has been playing on this server for over like basically a year. So it's been a year and like 6 months. So if this was like a this is one of those mistakes where it makes me kind of irritated, right? Mm. And the reason why I messaged that is because they almost made a successful attack. Okay, so this broke through. Oh no, Calico reinforced again. Hmm. Yeah, it might seem like I'm getting really irritated the more like this happens, but that's because if you're a new player, it's different, right? When you're like in server 50, where we're not like a new server. This is like season 4 right now. And so when when a player does the rally strategy, this doesn't just bring out a rally. I want to explain this so then everyone watching the video understands what this strategy is. You want to rally, bring out the rally. Get the rally to be a successful rally with the formations that you send into the AC1. Because remember, your base cannot be hit anyways. It does not matter if you send 2, 3 formations side by side with your rally. Let it rip. Your rally goes through. Your rally gets a successful attack. Drag those formations out like this, and then drag it. Drag it onto the AC1. Once you drag it onto the AC1 like so, you will then be able to directly hit the AC1 with that formation that was from that rally that is then returning. Because you're right at that AC1 at that very moment, you having those troops return back to your base wasted precious time. And that prevents you from capitalizing on a very successful attack. I am trying not to be too irritated right now. Because this could have gone a lot smoother. But I know that this was a pretty tough battle for SHS to begin with, so it's fine. So I'll mention two things here. When this attack goes through, they can then continue attacking just like that, right? They're doing that very well. They're doing that very successfully. So now they need to then assemble another rally. So that's 415,000. They got 10 minutes left. This is going to be a very tough upward battle. So that's why I said that this was going to be a tough battle. Defenders always have the advantage. So I don't want people who think that they can just select a target as an attacker and have it go through like it's nothing. Never think that way. Because just because you are the attacker and you have infinite teleports where you can teleport anywhere you want to, does not mean that it will go always in your favor. Like I just showed this player that he can teleport here, right? He didn't take advantage of being able to teleport there. So the major thing about this is, as a defender, you have your entire server supporting. You can see that there's TDF, Malicious Wolf, helping him. Drakeul is there. You got KIX helping, right? And then they are preventing these rallies from going through. So now that this is all happening, and now that like the other servers, players in that server, for server 56, now realize that 404R is getting smashed by SHS, or was getting smashed, they come in. They are now going in to assist with fresh troops, right? So Drakeul might be low on troops, but is like as an example, Blacious Wolf low on troops. No, he just came in fresh, right? His troops could be fully healed. We don't know. So he's ready to go. We have KIX coming in. Like those players are ready to go. They got all their troops ready to help assist. So now SHS is now on like their last few troops, right? And they need to get this situation dealt with as quickly as they could in order to actually capitalize on an attacker's benefit. Because the attacker's benefit isn't just the infant teleports, it's the act of surprise. Because you can attack anywhere from any direction and no one would know where you came from. He could have sent troops from here on the northern side and had like 6 different HQs here, 10. Then you could have like 10 HQs on this side, 10 HQs on the southern border, and you can have HQs coming in on the east, right? So, as an example, this player's hitting these season buildings, but he shouldn't be, right? And that's where the problem comes in, where some of these players might think they're helping, but they're not, because this player is just trying to take out season buildings for what he thinks he's getting participation points on. They eliminated the participation points from Glory War for this exact reason, because a player's basically doing nothing while actually having points to show that, pretending that they're actually doing something, right? There's now only alliance contribution points. Those alliance contribution points and those benefits and rewards are higher. Those rewards are higher if, like, let's say you win. In this case, if this player, instead of attacking these season buildings, goes directly to the AC1, joins in on the rallies, he could have actually made more of a difference, right? And that's why, if you have an alliance and you guys get Glory War, and the video that from who's requesting it is from like people who are still in season 1, right? Tell the people here, like this, from like this guy, not to just attack meaningless season buildings that do absolutely nothing. Because this player just took out the season buildings. He could have just teleported here right beside the AC1, just smashed the AC1. Because if you're right beside the the Alliance Center 1, for those who don't know what the term is, you could easily keep on attacking the Alliance Center 1, and the distance to travel between point A, like here, all the way to point B is shortened. This also means that if you start a rally on this section here to go there, the distance is shorter. So just remember, don't destroy random season buildings that don't benefit you or the Alliance, because that would annoy your Alliance. They're going to wonder, where were you in the fight? And you could be saying that I was there, right? Like this player he's there, right? Or was, I guess. And then he just took out some season buildings and then called it a day, right? Um if you're actually going to join in on a Glory War fight, you can take out season buildings. Make sure that the season buildings you're taking out benefits your alliance. So let's say that if someone took out season buildings, there's a bunch of season buildings that are leading to the AC1, preventing all of your allies from reaching it in a meaningful amount of time. If you just made a pathway straight to the AC1, made enough room for someone who's strong to teleport in right beside the AC1 and start smashing away at the AC1, okay, you're benefiting heavily on your alliance, right? If you're just going to destroy random season buildings like here that don't do anything, that doesn't mean anything. Because if your alliance is able to get so close that they're able to get here, sorry, that might not be a teleportable spot, here, then it doesn't matter about what you're realistically doing, right? Because if this spot isn't able to be teleported into, which I believe that is possible, that it might be too small. Maybe the section is too narrow, right? I think that one of these two are probably an available teleport spot. But if I'm wrong, I will give SHS the benefit of the doubt that I happen to be very incorrect, that that spot I can't teleport into, right? I believe that I probably could if it's like this big of an area here. But if I'm wrong, okay, fine. Destroy these season buildings here and then call it a day, teleport there. But from what I can see here, that area looks large enough for someone to teleport into. And right now there is 2 minutes before the end of Glory War, and yet the AC1 still has, I believe, that's about almost 500k HP. So there's absolutely no way that they can take that down. So that's why I said before that this is a battle of attrition. If Calico is able to outlast SHS, and I thought that Drakeo and Calico would have been a very difficult opponent for SHS. Very difficult. Because Chaotic and everyone else were not stronger than Calico. They're not stronger than Drakeo. They are not stronger than King. I wasn't really sure how they were going to be able to beat them outside of just doing a rally and then just smashing at the AC1 as hard as they could, as fast as they could before people came in and then started interrupting their Glory War. So this is kind of what I thought would happen, but I know that I seem annoyed that I'm watching it go down, but it's from the mistakes that are actually done that kind of get me annoyed. Could have the results changed? Maybe not. But for those watching the video, I highly recommend that you don't make those same mistakes that SHS did. And for SHS rewatching this video, because I know that there's players from SHS who occasionally watch my video, please don't make the same mistakes as you did in this Glory War. After you do the rally, and the rally is successful, those troops that happen to have done the successful rally can be dragged back onto the AC1 to then make another successful attack. So let's say that you use 2 of the other formations plus your rally. That's now 3 formations that are now hitting the AC1. Let's say that you had 10 players join in, some of their formations got intercepted. Let's say that instead of having all of their formations being able to attack, again, I will do benefit of the doubt. A little under 25 formations now hitting the AC1. That is still a significant amount of damage. Because right now it hit 5 PM. So they lost their glory just now. I'm just going to double check the results to find out who won and lost their glory. Because I kind of wanted to see where our positions are going to be very soon. Okay, so 404 R1. Oh, that is a harsh sentence. There was no way TDF could have won against SCR1 from S55. That was just not going to happen. as a idea of power gap difference. That is a very, very tough sentence. Oh wow, nice. Bond Nexus actually won. Just double checking this. L4T went against Arcs. Nyx went against H4A. KIDZ went against the Farm Alliance of L4T. Okay. That just gives me an idea about what our season ranking is going to look like. And it's not looking very good. Because if they had won, which they did, that would push my ranking down to under 10. And then I now need to win against KIX to be able to then secure a position in the top. WAR1 is fighting against NotClan. If NotClan wins, congrats to them, because that's going to be a very tough fight. And that would actually make them land in probably the top 5. I might be wrong, but if they win, I think that, no, that won't be top 5. Top 6. Top 6. Still pretty good. Okay, 404R is now top 16. SHS, I believe, is probably top 25. Yes. There we go. Anyways, I hope that all of you enjoyed the video. I apologize that this is one of my more long format videos. I was hoping to kind of make a video about what a Glory War was like from start to finish. And I wanted to correct any mistakes that actually happened that SHS ended up making inside this video. So in that way I can kind of give you an idea about what should be done, what should never be done, and the reason why it should never be done, as there were a lot of mistakes that were made on both sides, 404R and the SHS, right? So in some cases, like, I could see that Drakeo and Calico wasn't really using their formations that were outside to intercept some formations. Maybe they were away from their computer, I don't know, maybe away from their phones, right? They could have been grabbing a coffee or doing something, right? So that is a possibility. But yes, you could have something reinforced inside the AC1 and still use a secondary formation to attack the formations attacking the AC1. This will allow you to capitalize on doing as much damage as you could, just like what Calico and Drakeo did inside that Glory War that we saw. It's just that sometimes it was clear that they were occasionally distracted, which is okay, that sometimes happens, right? For what SHS did, they tried, they did their best, and I could definitely respect that, but to kind of correct a few of the mistakes that they made, you can't do multiple rallies, that's true. What you can do is that you can do one rally, have a swarm going with it, and once that rally ends up doing a successful attack, drag your formations back into the AC1 and then continue on that attack. So in that way it doesn't immediately return back to their base. Because once you basically go through those defenses, you want to act as fast as you humanly can. If you don't capitalize on beating those reinforcements, then you would really, really end up losing out on how much damage you can do, and you would have been taking losses that would have actually not been able to be capitalized upon those losses, right? Because if you end up attacking a defensive structure, your troops perish. If you end up getting urgent rescue from Peace Shield, you might prevent 20% of those troops from perishing, so they turn injured. But that still means you still have to heal those troops. At some point, it's going to overflow from your hospital. So not only does dragging your formations back onto that structure end up capitalizing on that, it prevents you from having to not have used that opportunity to the best of your benefit, right? Because if you're losing troops anyways, you might as well have used those losses of troops to the best of what you could have, rather than having those troops die and not really taking full advantage of what those troops ended up accomplishing in that process, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing that would have heavily influenced that battle was what I told the dark side before, and I don't think he ended up like understanding what I meant. I meant teleport closer. Because if you're that far away, any formation that comes to intercept your formation that's trying to rally on data line center would prevent your rally from being able to deal as much damage as it could have actually done. There are other aspects to Glory War besides that. There's now patches for restrictions that are like placement restrictions. I will explain that in another video, just because this video is a bit long. It's over an hour long at this point, right? But at least now you have an idea about what a Glory War is like, because the video requested about was from a player back in season 1 still, right? So I hope that all of you enjoyed this video. Please have an amazing rest of your day, and like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. If you want to support me on Patreon, then you can. Thanks, Ian, signing off. I'm going to make another video about my Glory War later, so in that way I can show what my strategy was, which is a totally different strategy than what Calico ended up doing, but I will show you what I ended up doing there.